Hey guys, it's Kenyatta Gabriella. Welcome back to my video. If you made it back for part 2, then I see you made it, boo. Like, I know part 1 was crazy about my crazy haunted house in Louisiana, and this is part 2. Like I said, it's about to get crazier. So if you haven't watched part 1, please make sure you watch part 1 because all of it builds up to the grand finale of what got us up out that house. But yes, make sure you get your snacks, your drink, your pillow, your blanket so you can get cozy and get ready for this story time. Where we last left off was me and my little brother go flying down the steps in this house. And no, this is not a drill. This is not a game or a lie. This really happened. I wish I could say that it didn't. It's one thing for a physical human being to do harm to you, but it's like you can't fight no ghosts. Like, and we're a Christian family, we pray, and at this point, this is when my mom was just like, I'm about to sage this house. We are very spiritual. My mama will sage a house out. Her and my grandmother don't play them games. So my mom sages the house after this because she's just like, even though I'm in the process of looking for another house, they're talking about my dad's going to deploy. Keep in mind, I mentioned before, whenever my dad was away or he would be like at war training, anytime there was not a male present in the house, it's when the energy was the strongest. It was always energy, but that's when it was the absolute strongest. So she was just like, if they're talking about you deploying, ain't no way we finna stay in this house. So we were gonna either go back to the East Coast. Atlanta was on the table. My mom had even considered California, but we really don't have family like that out there. We do have a little bit of family in California, but our main support is on the East Coast. So she was just like, look, we might be going back to Bragg. We might be, you know, somewhere away from here though. So after she sages the house, another incident happened. Mind you, we just got my fur baby, my little toy poodle, Cody. He's now a few months old. Whenever we were going to school or my parents would go to work, he would stay in the laundry room. We had a huge laundry room. It was so big, and so it had a door that led to the rest of the house. We would close that. It had a door that led to the garage, and it also had a back door that led to the backyard. We kept him enclosed in that area because at least if he messed up, it was in one space. He had his little cage and all that, but like his little pen, which was also huge, but we kept the doors closed because he was a little convict that could climb out of his cage. So we had to make sure the doors were closed. So just to give you, again, some background, because I always got to give you the background of what's going on. This was how basically everyone left the house. My dad left the house the earliest in the morning because he had to go do PT and all that stuff. So he would leave early in the morning. After that is now me and my mom and my brother and Cody at the house. My mom would take my brother to daycare and then she would go to work. So now I'm left at the house with Cody. I would eat, you know, get up, get dressed, eat my breakfast, get his breakfast, you know, make sure he went and pottied, play with him a little bit until the bus came. And then I would go out the front door, which had a screen door. And so I would close the main door, lock it, and then that would leave the screen door open so that when I get home, which I would be the first one home, I would go back to the front door, go to the screen that's unlocked, open it, and then unlock the main door to get into the house. That is all going to make sense with what I'm about to say next. So, normal day, normal routine. I leave, I lock the main door, screen door is unlocked, get on the bus, going to get my education. Get off the bus in the afternoon, first one home like always, go to the front door, the screen is locked. It's about to be that kind of day, I guess. Ringing the doorbell, no answer. Okay, so I went around the house, go to the back door that leads into the laundry room where Cody is. The chain is on the door. Never recalled the chain being on the door, but okay, I broke the door. Mind you, we in Louisiana, it's hot. I'm tired. I'm aggravated because who done came in the house and locked the door? Now I can't get in. I'm sweating, so I'm gonna break the door. I broke the door, kicked the door in, got in the house. Cody is shaking in the corner. I don't really think much of it at this point because I see the other door that leads to the rest of the house is open. So I'm like, oh, my mom's home. So I don't think anything of it. I'm just thinking in my head, he's probably trying to figure out why I just kicked the door in, or he's either peed on the floor and she put him away and he done got in trouble. But he's shaking, clearly, visibly shaking. So I see him, I pick him up, give him all these kisses, carry him, sit in the den, get me some water, all that stuff. I hear movement upstairs. Never once did it dawn on me, look in the garage and see if your mom is home. Never dawned on me. So I sit down on the couch. I'm tired. It's been a long day. Again, I hear movement, so I'm assuming my mom is home. I also hear talking, so I'm thinking nothing of this whole exchange that just went down. So Cody runs back into the laundry room and he's not coming out. So I'm calling for him, and he's not coming to me. Looking there, he is like, girl, we got to go. Not thinking anything of the sorts is going on outside of I just need to take a nap. But I'm hungry, so I'm calling for my mom like, ma, what we finna eat, da 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 da. Don't hear any response. Cody is looking at me like, girl, we need to go. And he came out the laundry room. He was kind of inching towards, we had a covered deck, well, not covered deck, it was like a screened in porch on the back of the house. So he's over by that door and he's looking at me like, for real, we need to go. Like, I don't know how to describe it from a dog standpoint, but he's really looking at me like, can you open this door, because I'm finna make a run for it. And if I can remember correctly, I can't remember if I called my mom because she wasn't responding to me. And I said this was just by the grace of God that I didn't just walk up the steps and go in her room. But it was something along the lines of, I called my mom expecting her to answer upstairs and then tell me, oh, you know, I'm gonna order some pizza or something like that. But when I called her, she answered and said, what you want? I'm at work. It was such a loud silence in that house at that point, because what is that upstairs? And whatever it was upstairs, when she said I'm at work, it started running towards the steps. I grabbed that dog and I booked it out that deck, like we're off that screen porch. I took off running out the backyard, opened the gate, and just booked it. I was gone. And again, by the grace of God, the ancestors, and everybody that is real out there that love me, it was a MP that was driving down the street and he had to go over the little speed bump that was right by our house, so he had to slow down. And I got this little dog in my hand and I am booking it. Mind you, I was running track at this time too, so I was fast. And I wave him and I'm screaming and I'm like, help me, something's in my house, something's in my house. He jumped out of his car and he go in the house and he is looking through the, and I'm like, I'm crying at this point. I said, something is in this house. I heard it. It was running down the steps. I don't know if it went out the front or what. Like, something is in this house. I had a clear view of the house though as I was running, because it was just a straight shot to his car. So even if something ran out, I would have saw it if it came out the back. I never saw anything, and even when he went in, the screen door was still locked in the front. So if it was a human that had broke in, it wouldn't have came out the front because the door was still locked, which was the only exit to the front of the house. Child, when I tell you, I was shook. I was shook. I have never been so scared. My heart was beating. I thought it was going to come out of my chest, because what if I did not make it out that house? Or what if I just was so afraid that I just kind of stood there? Would I have seen what was upstairs? Like, I don't even want to imagine what I would have possibly seen. I was gone. I remember I sat outside until my mama got home. I was like, I'm not going in there by myself. I actually did not even tell her what happened because I was so afraid she was not going to believe me. I recently told her that story because I was like, that just does not seem believable. But if you thought that wasn't believable, the next part is just going to blow you away too. And you would think by this point we would have left. But in our defense, when people always be like, I would have got out that house, where are you going to go besides be homeless? because it's not that easy to just pick up and move like that. And that was the situation we were stuck in. We couldn't just leave. Our family was not like right there. Like, yeah, we have family and friends in Louisiana, but it's like, it's just so hard to explain because we weren't in the position to just pick up and leave like you would think we were. The next craziness that happens is my brother and I want to say maybe it was summer, maybe it was like a day off, a holiday, something, but me and my little brother and the dog were home. And as crazy as it sounds, it kind of seemed like we got used to the activity. So when people be like, oh, my house is haunted, but I got used to it, no lie, you kind of get used to it and you kind of just learn, okay, we got to share this space together. Just don't bother me, I won't bother you. But it seemed like whatever was in that house just did not care. It was gonna bother us regardless. My mama was at work, me and my little brother were home. She came home to bring us some Burger King. I will never forget, it was Burger King. And she could not stay long. She was just coming, dropping us off some food, use the bathroom, do whatever, and go back to do her little second shift. So while she was doing coming in to give us our food, she had the car still running. It was in the driveway. Now the driveway had a slight incline, and then you be in the garage. Once you make it in the garage, to the far right was the door that led into the house. So my mom was not in the house 3 minutes. We hear a loud bang on the back door, and on the door in the garage that leads into the house. It was so loud that I thought someone was trying to kick the door in. I grabbed the dog and my brother. We go hide, and my mom grabs her gun, and she makes sure that the door was locked. She made sure the door was locked, but she had her gun like on her in case if they did kick in, she was gonna shoot. But something told her, go look to the front and see where your car is located. When she did, we don't see the car in the driveway anymore. Me and my little brother and the dog still hiding though. So she goes, oh my God, I think someone just stole your dad's truck. So we come out the house, we're like, what do you mean they stole daddy's truck? Child, when she went back to the door that leads to the garage and opened it, why was the grill of my dad's truck in the door? Like someone got in it and then drove it into the house, but nobody was in the car. Mind you, the driveway had an incline. Grand finale of foolery, as my mama was like, look, if we got to stay with family on the East Coast, like if we got to go to my grandma's, that's just what it's gonna be. This happened, I want to say, a couple nights later. So again, my dad is away. Mind you, all this time he was at training because again they were about to deploy. And me, my brother, the dog were in the bed with my mom. And it was about 3 in the morning. Now you know some people like to say that 3:30 is witching hour, witches hour, paranormal hour. It seemed like that was every hour in this house. But this particular night we were asleep, and about 3 o'clock my mom hits me and goes, Kiki, stop playing with my feet. Now, I already told you this thing had a fetish with playing with your feet, especially if they were out the covers. It would pull the covers. That was already established. I look at her, I go, girl, I'm not playing with your feet. About 10-15 minutes pass by. She hits me and goes, Kiki, I said stop playing with my feet. I look at her again and I go, girl, I'm not playing with your feet. Like, I'm asleep. It's 3:30 in the morning. Like, I'm not playing with you. I rolled over, so my back was to the door. But my mom was still, I guess, like on her back or on her side. And she could see her doorway of her bedroom and the hallway, which was pitch black. And she said that after I told her the second time, I'm not touching your feet, a tall black like figure shadow glides its happy tail into their bedroom and stood on the side of her. At this point, my mom starts screaming. She jumps over me and my brother and grabs us, the dog, and she is screaming. She's screaming like the Lord's Prayer. She cursing this thing out. She screaming for us. She turned the light on, and I don't know how she was able to do all this, but she was able to turn the light on, grab us, guard us, and shield us from whatever it was. The thing disappeared because I didn't see it. She must have scared him away, and she just screamed for us, get your ass and get in the car. Mind you, it's like 3:30 in the morning. Get your ass and get in the car. Say less. Me and my brother was in that car in less than 5 minutes. And the dog, mom, whatever she could grab, got in the car, and we drove all the way to Birmingham, Alabama, to my dad's side. And that we pulled up to my grandma's house, and she was like, hey dog, what y'all doing here? It's like 7 in the morning, no warning at all that we are popping up. My mom dropped us off, and she got back in the car. She drove to Atlanta, and she went on a few job interviews and was like, look, I'm finding us a house. She's finding a job there, because ain't no way we gonna stay here. She let my dad's unit know where we were. It was like, when he gets home, I'll explain everything to him, but until then we'll be with his sister or his mother, because something ungodly just went on in that house. And that's where we stayed. Now, around this time, this is when Hurricane Katrina was out there brewing and was about to, you know, make her appearance. We packed overnight. Like, we got up out of there. We were gonna ride the hurricane out, but it was just like, look, we have no intentions of staying here anyway. Like I said, we had friends and family, and you know, our family there in Louisiana, but it was just like, we're not staying here regardless. Like, this is our out to get out of here, and we're going to get on out of here. And so that is exactly what we did. We left the day Katrina made landfall. We got out of there, and I have not looked back since. You couldn't pay me to stay in that house. Dad still had to serve the rest of his term in Louisiana at this base. Until recent years that my dad let us know that after we left, because we did end up relocating to Atlanta in 2005, he finished out Louisiana his like another 2 years, but he would come home every 2 weeks. But he told us that after we had left, I guess he was left there alone with whatever was in that house, and it was like, well, you said I wasn't real, so let's play a game. And he told us that one night he was laying in the bed, and my dad got injured in Iraq, so he was in a lot of pain at this time, and he was on heavy medications. But he said that he was laying in the bed one night, and he felt something pull his foot. And he said that he looked around and was just like, dang, this medication that they got me on is really strong. But it's so funny, because even though he jokingly says that, he does always like to mention that when it first pulled his foot, he did reach in his, you know, nightstand drawer and pulled out his Bible. Boy, you know that wasn't no medication, because why you touch that Bible and pull it out? So he said he laid it there beside him, and then he said it did it again, and this time it pulled him harder in the bed. And he said he jumped up, got his stuff, and he left. Again, you couldn't pay me to live in that house again. It was the most uncomfortable feeling ever, to feel uncomfortable in your own house, which is supposed to be your safe haven, your safe space. You shouldn't feel like a victim in your own home, but it was nothing pleasant about that house at all. Yeah, that is my story time on my haunted house in Louisiana. Like I said, I would go in depth on the actual base and all. I did find out after leaving, I did run into some people here in Atlanta, because a lot of people during Katrina either went to Texas or came to Atlanta, and I did see a couple of people that lived on the street here in Atlanta, and they also had some crazy stuff happen in their homes. But I also found out from someone who lived in that area that years before we moved there, a little boy got hit by a car on our lot, and he died. But from what everybody was experiencing and what we saw in that house, it wasn't a child. This was like an adult, like a man, like a older man. And from what my mom described, the shadow figure that she saw was given very much like adult man, slender man. Like she said, it was very tall and long, So yeah, it wasn't giving like a child spirit or anything playful. Whatever was in this home really meant harm. It clearly didn't want us there, and it was like, baby, you can have it because we don't want to be here anyway. Because I did end up finding out some more stuff about this base. I actually googled it, and I do want to tell y'all what I found. Like I said, I just want to make sure I can get clearance on doing this first, because you know, the military, I don't want them to come get me. So once I can, you know, release all this information, I do want to share this with you guys. So if you are interested in hearing about that, make sure you comment that down below. You leave some likes, you tell some friends to watch this, make sure you subscribe. And again, tell me if you've ever experienced any paranormal activity, ever lived in a haunted house, ever saw something that just made you be like, that ain't supposed to happen. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Y'all stay safe out there. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.